It seems the tides are turning for the Queen B of Vanderpump Rules, Ariana Madix. In the last few episodes of Vanderpump Rules Season 11, we've seen Scheana and Lala begin to lower their walls against Tom and Rachel post-Scandal, while tensions have been running high between Ariana and pretty much anyone who expresses sympathy towards Tom, especially Schwartz and Scheana. Relationships are shifting and tides are turning. Is Ariana's reign over? In this video, we'll cover Lisa's discussions with cast members about Tom Sandoval's mental health and work our way through the latest footage of Vanderpump Rules and the After Show, as well as various podcast snippets and interviews with the cast to try to uncover the truth about both Tom and Ariana's current relationships with the rest of the Vanderpump Rules cast. Have alliances shifted? Has Tom been forgiven and let back in? Is Ariana on the outs after letting the fame of Scandal go to her head? Where do they all stand today? Stay tuned to find out. Before we get started, I'd love to ask you all if you could subscribe if you're new. I'll be continuing to cover Vanderpump Rules news and headlines to answer all your burning questions as the season plays out. Plus, expect content on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Summer House, Real Housewives of Potomac, and all your other favourites. So if you're a Bravo addict like me, don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with this scandalous season and let me know what you want to see me cover next in the comments below. Let's get into it. Episodes 3 and 4 of Vanderpump Rules Season 11 were highly emotional ones, with content more raw than perhaps anything we've seen on Vanderpump Rules pre-Scandal. These new episodes have discussed heavy topics that should be handled with care, including Tom Sandoval confiding in Lisa about his battles with suicidal thoughts during the aftermath and media frenzy of Scandal. Following this deeply troubling revelation, Lisa turned to fellow cast members to provide support for Sandoval, arranging conversations first with Tom Schwartz, then with Lala and Scheana, to express her concerns over Sandoval's mental health.
What really worries me, and this is a personal trigger for me, is he was so low that he actually said, I've had some really dark thoughts.
Yeah. I'd like to think I'm one of his best friends in the world, and he didn't tell me that until after I found it out through other people in his life.
When I hear that, that scares the life out of me.
Yeah.
Because my brother said a similar thing to me.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, it's too late.
Yeah.
There's only so much one person can take before they break. I don't want to be in a position where we have regret. Sandoval is not the kind of person that says he's had suicidal thoughts unless he means it. Yeah.
These heavy conversations touch the cast members of Vanderpump Rules deeply, as many of them have been closely impacted by suicide in their lives. Of course, Schwartz has always stayed loyal to Sandoval and supported him through the dark times, though there did come a point where even he had to take a step back following the total breakdown of their bar, Schwartz and Sandy's. But with Schwartz back on side from the start of the season, it was Lala and Scheana's reactions in this conversation that were most shocking. Both long-standing cast members went to town on Sandoval during the scandal, making merch, podcasts, and openly speaking out in support for Ariana, and strongly against both Tom and Rachel. But it seems this conversation with Lisa was the start of a shift in their attitude towards Tom Sandoval, both on screen and off. Following this catch-up, we saw Scheana discuss the conversation with James, Ali, and her husband Brock while out at dinner, where she revealed that she felt sympathy towards Tom and wouldn't want to contribute to anyone feeling in such a dark place. Clearly, after a long friendship with Sandoval, enough time had passed for Scheana to feel willing to make space for Tom to make his way back into the group.
I just had a conversation with Lisa yesterday before I went to your house, and she literally had tears in her eyes, in which she said, after her brother passed away from suicide, she just has seen some similarities with Sandoval and kind of go easier than we have been. I know, I understand that. I just don't want him to do something and it to be too late, and none of us were there.
So the tides are definitely turning, and not everyone is happy about it. Ariana has expressed clear boundaries when it comes to her relationship with Tom and her friends' relationships too. She has told all of the cast, if you're friends with Tom, you can't be in my life. And this has seen her cut Schwartz out in a ruthless display.
I don't want to be anywhere near either you or my ex. But I gave up on you a long time ago, and my life is better for it.
Okay,
so,
I love that for
good
you.
luck.
Hey, same to you.
Everything anyone says to you about any of this is always going to fall on deaf ears. You're a lost cause.
Okay, you don't speak
You
on
don't
behalf
hear
of the
it.
whole group. You're not the queen of the group. Come on. Your ego's getting a little come on.
Now it's my ego.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be a situation where you bridge some sort of gap and he comes back into the fold.
Yeah.
This isn't my ego telling other people what to do, how to feel.
I miss the old group dynamic.
Following this conversation, Schwartz was the first one to express he felt the media frenzy and support for Ariana received during Scandal had gone to her head. In the episode of the After Show aired on February 13th, Schwartz said, "She started going in on me and belittling me. First of all, you're not my queen. It went to her head, and I think she became a diva a little bit. However, at this point in time, both Lala and Scheana had her back, saying that Ariana deserves to act like the queen of the group right now, as Lala had also put the same boundaries in place when it came to the breakdown of her relationship with Randall. She also added, "She had a really tough year, let her go out and kill the game and be Queen B for a minute." Although at this point the duo were on her side, in a way, they're also agreeing with Schwartz's statement that Ariana was letting this get to her head and acting out of character by being outspoken and queen of the group. Even James weighed in on this, saying, "There's a queen every year and Ariana's the queen this year." And while having your boundaries against your cheating ex-boyfriend is one thing, it seems that Ariana did start to take advantage of the pedestal she'd been put on when it came to considering the more important aspects of not only Tom's mental health, but of her friends' feelings too, by putting them in a position where they were forced to choose sides between two long-standing friends. In a heartbreaking scene in the most recent episode of Vanderpump Rules, Scheana speaks to Ariana about her guilt and sympathy for Tom, following her conversation with Lisa and Lala about his mental health. It's clear in the scene that Scheana is moved by the circumstances and it's weighing heavy on her, that she feels she should reach out to Tom.
Here's where I'm now personally struggling. Chris, we went over to Lisa's today. Me and Lala, with all three of us were in tears. She was very emotional because she said she's seen a lot of similarities with her brother before he passed away. And she's very, very concerned. And she's asked us just to ease up.
I think it's Ariana's reaction to this that starts a landslide of events which sees Scheana and Lala's alliances change. Check this out.
Still will not take responsibility for what he did. So ease up. What am I think you're gonna be like, "Hey everybody, it's me, Ariana, on my Instagram story. If you guys could just like be nice to my ex-boyfriend who like literally like did all these things." That's not happening. He was such an amazing friend. It wasn't genuine. As soon as he's getting invited to parties again, he'll be like, "Great, that's what I wanted." Yeah. This is a scary person that I don't trust any word that comes out of his mouth because it's constantly changing and it's all like, to me, feels like manipulation.
In this clip, Ariana is blunt and matter of fact about how she feels towards Tom. She doesn't offer any support to her best friend who is clearly crying in front of her and doesn't delve deeper into why Scheana feels this level of guilt, which she confesses in the after show is due to a similar situation that affected her life in the past.
As someone who lost someone close to them to suicide many years ago, that hit home for me because I had spoken to this person a few days before and I didn't realize the way that they were reaching out to me, just saying how depressed they were. And my response was like, well, maybe you should look at like some of your choices. That's something that for many years weighed heavy on me. So when Lisa said this, I was just like, I don't ever want to feel that way again. I don't ever want to feel like my words could be responsible for someone being pushed over the edge.
I can't imagine how painful it was for Scheana to have the situation of losing a friend to suicide dragged back up and feeling like she'll either betray Tom or Ariana if she chooses to support one over the other, which is sadly the position she's being put in.
Is it worth losing Ariana? Talk to her about it. Don't be a people pleaser. Just go where your gut tells you.
For me, I think we're going to see everything change from here on out. With the Lake Tahoe episode coming up this week, I expect to see a softening towards Sandoval from the majority of the group, and perhaps some distance starting to emerge between Lala and Scheana versus Ariana, as she won't be happy about what's to come. I think this is where things begin to kick off, and we might even catch a glimpse of the context behind Lala's iconic sentence from the trailer.
Never experienced someone who gets cheated on and suddenly she becomes gone.
So where do they all stand now? Although we haven't seen the full fallout from the Lake Tahoe trip and the softening towards Tom, I'm pretty sure we can expect some big alliance shifts in the rest of this season based on what's been released so far, both in the after show and in Lala's most recent episode of her podcast, Give Them Lala. Let's start with the after show. In the most recent episode, we've seen both Ariana and Scheana discuss their feelings towards Tom's mental health and how the pool party scene played out. Ariana's stance remains largely unchanged. She's still very matter-of-fact about the situation and seems to believe that Tom is manipulating and weaponizing mental health to get back in everyone's good graces.
Someone has concerns, they should seek professional help for someone.
Yeah.
Like, that is the route that should be taken. Like, if he's not going to seek professional help for himself, then if Lisa is concerned, instead of putting it on Scheana and Lala, she should find professional help for him, because I think that ultimately Scheana and Lala are not equipped and should not be carrying that. It's sad to miss somebody who said they don't give a fuck about you. It's sad for her. take me out of it. I think it's sad that she would then be seeking out validation or approval or anything from him. Please feel however you feel. Please work through whatever you need to work through. Do what you want to do. Even after he said and did those things to you, all of that, fine and good. But don't be asking for my approval.
However, it's Scheana's response that really gives away that there may be trouble in the friendship between the longtime friends, as she expresses that no one asked her why she was so upset over Sandoval's mental health.
This is just why there's certain people I open up to and there's certain people I don't want to because of responses like that. I'm trying to say that this conversation I just had is weighing heavy on me, and instead of them seeing my feelings or how this is bringing up something else about someone else I lost to suicide years ago, it was just like, well, that's not fair. She did that. I'm literally in tears right now. And I just didn't really feel like anyone, them especially, asked, is there something else going on? Is there why is this affecting you so much?
And what really gave it away for me was a blink and you'll miss it type moment from James, where in a theoretical discussion about if the tables were turned, he said, then what? We should all allow them to talk and be how you and Tom are? Heavily hinting that Scheana and Sandoval have reconciled, and that's why she feels this level of resentment towards Ariana and they're no longer as close. So the fact that Ariana seemed frustrated at the pool party, plus filming a separate interview scene to Lala and Scheana, suggests to me that this relationship is currently on the outs. Ariana doesn't agree with how Lisa, Scheana or Lala have handled this situation. While it seems that Scheana has in fact rekindled her friendship with Sandoval, even though she says in the after show she'll never let him back in and be best friends again, but admits she did soften up after that conversation. Further proof of this comes in the Them Lala episode from the 21st of February, where Lala talks about being willing to let Tom back in as she'd rather he feel guilty if he's lying about mental health to manipulate them than her feel guilty if she didn't let him back in and the worst were to happen. Check this out.
You know, we have to remember, he was being slammed, he was being talked about at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. We were talking about him, slamming him on the podcast. We were making merch. Bravo blogs were going in on him. At some point, that is going to fuck with you mentally. And he should be allowed to come on the show that he's been a part of for 11 years and say, this affected me, without other people being the judge and jury on if his mental health and it being jeopardized is real or not. You know, let's just say he is victimizing it. He has to live with that, not me. But let's say he's not and something happens and I double down, then I have to live with that.
So what do you think? To me, I think if you look at the way things have gone in these last few episodes and couple this with the statements made in the after show and various podcasts, it's clear that the relationships this season are about to undergo a massive shift. From Ariana starting the season as the Queen B of VPR with all of the cast behind her, excluding the Toms, I think she's fallen from grace a little and has alienated her friends, especially Scheana, with her strict rules against friendships with Sandoval and her absolute lack of empathy for someone she spent 9 years with, especially as she has struggled with mental health issues herself. I understand that being cheated on like this is completely unforgivable, but I think as someone who struggles with mental health, you should know when enough is enough and to let people get the support they need. So allowing her friends to support him through this period shouldn't be looked at as the ultimate betrayal. I know there are different opinions out there. Scheana makes things all about her, Tom is manipulative and weaponizing mental health. Ariana deserves to act how she is, and after all, Lala did the same thing with Randall. But I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I'm by no means Tom's #1 fan and don't think it's fair for me to make a judgment on his mental health. But what I do think is that if my best friend was crying in front of me because she was worried about someone or felt guilty, I think I'd be softer in how I approached her and maybe ease up a bit. But I've never been in that position, so I guess you never really know how you'd react. What do you guys think? Are you team Ariana on this one? Do you think Scheana and Ariana's relationship will come back from this? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading all of your opinions. Personally, I'm intrigued to see how this plays out, but I'm pretty confident that by the end of this season, we'll have seen some explosive fallouts between the girls of VPR and a definite softening towards Sandoval. I guess we'll all have to stay tuned. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and check out our Vanderpump Rules playlist to catch up on the drama.